All right, apologies for being tardy. We're here, though. NBA Final Countdown, Holden and JSU. We're going to get to all your questions here in a few minutes, run down JSU's cores. Before we start, we got something new today that I got to show you. No more chat from YouTube. They don't like us doing that anymore, so screw them. We're going to have to do it ourselves. For those of you that are not in Discord, you're going to need to sign up for Discord, okay? You're going to need to sign up for Discord. For one day only, you can hit me up on Twitter and ask me the question. At Holden Radio. One day only, at Holden Radio. Here's what you do. Go to discord.com. If you're already in the Run Pure Sports Discord, you'll see at the top here, it says Team Run Pure, coordinators, team content alert announcements. The next one down is general chats. You'll see here live show chat. That's what I need you to go to for you guys to ask us questions today. Live show chat. And I guess Jerker19 says, oh, snap. So there you go. That's how we're doing the chat today. We're going to have to do it like that. But without further ado, JSU's cores are up. Let's get into this. JSU, wonderful to see you again. A couple things news-wise to get to. Trae Young's active. We've got Steven Adams doubtful. Giannis is in. Dragic is questionable. Tyler Hero is active. D'Angelo Russell still questionable. We got Jeremy Grant and Mason Plumlee revenge games. We got Andre Drummond out. So let me see. Do you have Jared Allen in your core? Yes, you do. To no surprise. JSU, how the hell are you? Let's talk about your FanDuel core.
What's going on, man? Yeah, ready to break down all this info. It's kind of hitting us all at once, and I love it. That's why the people are here, I think. So let's. Oh,
they're in there. Look at this.
It.
So many of them figured it out too. It's way to go, guys. I'm proud of you. So I'm going to get your questions through here today. Everything's going to be cool. Darius Garland at the top. Talk to me about Darius Garland and Tyrese Halliburton and how they made your FanDuel core today, JSU.
Yeah, it's really just price. I mean, if you look at the, price and also, people being out from Cleveland. But if you look at Darius Garland, 5,300 on FanDuel, 3,500 is the min on FanDuel. And then on DraftKings, 5,900, 3K is the minimum. We got a big price difference there. With no Andre Drummond, there's going to be more opportunities for him just to score in general. Because for Jared Allen is good at, he is not Andre Drummond. He is he's a solid player, but he does his work rebounding like Drummond, getting blocks. He can score around the rim, but they're not going to focus their offense around him like they do kind of Drummond and Colin Sexton, where they're constantly getting him the ball, right? The ball is going to be centered around guys like Garland and Sexton making plays for themselves and for others, but they're really the two main guys. So Garland makes the core on FanDuel, really cheap. A lot of good point guard plays on FanDuel. So we'll talk about other ways to go. But then Halliburton, another guy who made my core for this site, mainly because, again, just they want him to play. They're pushing. This is why Marvin Bagley isn't getting minutes. He's not getting minutes because they're trying to play this small lineup towards the end of games against a lot of these teams with Halliburton in there. So, that's pushing Bagley out of the finish a lot of times because they're going with Holmes. They're going with Holmes at center most of the time, maybe Hassan Whiteside, but then they're playing this 3-guard lineup with Buddy, Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, and then Barnes is playing the 4. So, I think Halliburton is still priced too cheap here, and I like him a lot.
Let's get to the pair of Pelicans here. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. What about New Orleans get you going tonight?
Yeah, so no Steven Adams. And the thing that Steven Adams does, which kind of caps the upside of these guys, is he just gets every rebound. He's literally just he got 20 rebounds like 2 games ago. The guy is just a really good rebounder, and it kind of hurts the upside of guys like Zion and Brandon Ingram. And this is a really good spot. Pace-up spot against Sacramento. They play no defense, no Adams. I expect with no Adams on the court, the Pelicans are going to run more. They should be doing this anyways, but with Steven Adams in there, it's really tough to do. Jackson Hayes, when he's in the game, he's more of a mobile center. He can move down the court. run up and down the court a lot better than Adams can. He's a younger kid. But I think they're also going to play Nikhil Alexander-Walker, however you want to say his name, to match the small lineup that I know for a fact Sacramento will play with Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and De'Aaron Fox. It just makes a lot of sense. So although I think that Jackson Hayes probably gets the start, I don't know if he is going to get the finish at the end of the game, because to finish the game, if Sacramento plays that 3-guard lineup, I am expecting them to match that, the Pelicans will, with maybe it's Josh Hart. They have a few guys that could finish the game, I guess, depending on who plays well. But I think they want to see play more. And so I'm expecting him to get some good run. I expect Jackson Hayes to play in that, low to mid 20s minutes, something like that. And I think he gets a bump, but it's not like he's not the min on DraftKings. He's 4K. But he is a decent player, Jackson Hayes. So that's something to weigh, you know what I mean? But I think he's going to get more like 20 to 25 minutes. He's not going to get, Adams upside in minutes, which, they play him. Sometimes they'll play him somewhere between 30 and 33. He has gotten, more at times, but I don't think Jackson Hayes sees that. I think he sees like 25 at most.
Okay. And then we got Drummond out. So Allen's going to be what? 2/3 owned, 66%. And Jokic bouncing back again. So Allen's
whenever on FanDuel, you can get a center at power forward starting. He's going to play 30+ minutes. And a guy like Allen, who is really good at getting blocks. And we all know on a site like FanDuel, blocks are just so important because they're an extra point on FanDuel blocks and steals, whereas on DraftKings, they're 2 points, not 3 on FanDuel. So it just makes a lot of sense. I expect him to be, 2/3, maybe even, a little more than that, to be honest with you. He should be.
All right, guys, just to remind everybody, and that's the FanDuel core, we are no longer going to be able to take the questions in the YouTube chat. For some reason, they didn't like that. So here's what you do. If you're in Discord, if you're not, we'll take care of you. We'll get it tomorrow. You can hit me up at Holden Radio on Twitter, and I will check it and try and get your question in. But one more time, go to Discord, the homepage. You'll see Team Run Pure. Ignore it. Next one, general chats. Welcome discussion. Boom, live show chat. Live show chat. That's how you ask us questions. Just like Gino, he wants to know, can we play Fox and Halliburton together in GPPs? Can you do it, JSU?
I mean, yeah, I think you can. Like I said, Halliburton's not playing at the detriment of De'Aaron Fox. He's not taking minutes away, really, from De'Aaron Fox. So they're playing together at the end, too. That'll tell you what you need to know. Now, De'Aaron Fox, he can get anywhere from, 32 to 39 minutes. They kind of fluctuate him a little bit. But, I mean, it's Luke Walton. What do you expect from a coach like that, who just really nobody is safe, in my opinion, with Luke Walton, outside of, like, Harrison Barnes. For whatever reason, Harrison Barnes is, like, blowout, doesn't matter. He's locked into his, like, 32 to 35 minutes. But everyone else be damned, even your best player. So De'Aaron Fox is fine to play with Halliburton. I don't think it affects his upside, in my opinion. That's
all right. Before we get to the DK core, one more question. The guy's hitting us up right now. It's nice. Rank these centers on FanDuel, MME. Mm-hmm. Jokic, Jackson Hayes, Zeller, Cantor. Jokic, Jackson Hayes, Zeller, and Cantor.
I'd probably go Jokic. Then I'd go. I don't really like Zeller. Okay. So like Cody. So I'd go Jokic, then probably lean Hayes at the price discount you're getting on FanDuel. I want to double check to make sure, and then after that, I'd probably go Zeller Cantor. I don't love the matchup for Cantor against Milwaukee. But Cody Zeller, I mean, he's going to be popular today, and the ball, like last game, he had a huge game, 37 FanDuel points. I watched that entire game. he did nothing offensively. He is not centered around that team, like scoring the basketball, but he did make some plays. He had some assists that were, decent plays, but he really just got a bunch of rebounds. He had 15, he got the 7 points, but didn't really do much else. This isn't the best matchup, again, to be picking on Cody Zeller. So it's a matchup where if he's going to be chalk in tournaments, I'm probably just going to stay away. But I get his price tag and all that stuff like that. But I'm probably just going to stay away in this matchup.
Okay, very good. Couple lineup notes here. Butler, here's for the Heat. Butler, Hero is in. Robinson, Olynyk, Adebayo. Nerlens Noel, available to play tonight. Our boy Wiseman's out 7 to 10 days. Not that it matters right now. We also have D'Angelo Russell's in. D'Angelo Russell is in. A couple more lineups. The Rockets going with Wall, Oladipo, Tate, Tucker, and Wood. And Graham, Ball, Hayward, Washington, Zeller for the Hornets. Graham, Ball, Hayward, Washington, and Zeller. All right, so let's start with LaMelo Ball on the DK core, JSU. What is it about LaMelo Ball that gets him in your core today?
Yeah, so, safety one, he's going to play a boatload of minutes here with no Terry Rozier. They kind of have no choice but to play him 30 minutes. Like, he's going to get 30, I think, without Rozier, because they really don't have another point guard outside of Devontae Graham. And I think both these guys see a bunch of minutes. But LaMelo is the one with the ball in his hands. He's the one making plays, and he does that well. And this is a guy who we saw with Rozier. He got up to almost 8K as a player, and he has that type of upside. Now we don't have to worry about Rozier taking him off the court. This is a guy with 50. He had 55 last game. He's got 50-plus point upside at 6,500. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. I just think he's a really strong play. So he lands in the DK core. Hopefully people, now we got most of the news. I was hoping we kind of didn't get all of the news, because then maybe people would backload their lineups a little bit and leave space open. But either way, I think he's a strong play. I talked about Tyrese Halliburton. That shooting guard position on DraftKings is real tough. A lot of these point guards like Monte Morris for cheap. I like him a lot, but he's not shooting guard eligible. I wish he was shooting guard eligible, because then I could plug him in there, because there are a lot of solid point guard plays to play. Darius Bazley, I talked him up last time. He was in the core for a while, and then I took him out for Terrence Davis, but I still liked him. He had 30 DraftKings points. His price really didn't move all that much. It's the 5,100. But again, he's going to play 30-plus minutes, 30 or more minutes most likely. And Houston doesn't play much defense. So I like Darius Bazley again here in this matchup. They really don't have anyone else after SGA and Horford. In Horford, they're not running out big minutes no matter what. But after those two guys, it's Bazley. Like, Bazley's their offense. Do not count on Theo Maladone going out there and hitting like 7 threes like he did last game. He was on fire, but still, after, him hitting those threes, and Lucas Dort is just not, he cannot do anything offensively. That guy he is a great defender, but he struggles shooting the ball. It just looks rough watching him shoot. So Darius Bazley is like that third guy to me offensively, who they're going to look to make plays. And what Brooklyn was doing against SGA at times was they were literally blitzing him and forcing the ball out of his hands. And he was still finding ways to get to the rim at points, which was amazing. But I expect like Oladipo to give him a little bit of a tough time, and for them to kind of get the ball out of his hands. And that's going to lead to more opportunities for guys like Bazley. So I like him a lot. He fits well. You can play him at small forward or power forward, which is nice as well in the lineups. Then Zion Williamson, who I expect to get the biggest bump. I just think this is an upside game. I think 20-plus points is very real here. But then the rebounding numbers I expect to go up with no Steven Adams. I don't just think Jackson Hayes is going to steal them all. if he does, he'll crush at his price tag. Jackson Hayes will, but I don't expect it. I think Zion will get a good amount. I think Brandon Ingram will. So I think Zion's a really strong play. And then Jared Allen, I just think he's a must. I think he's a must here. I think he's just one of the best plays on the slate at that price tag against Minnesota, who is the worst defense in the league. In my estimations, as a team, I think they're the worst team defense in the league. And I think Jared Allen should have a strong game here. He is a starting caliber center, in my opinion, who could start for multiple teams. He has that type of talent. So I think Jared Allen is just such a good play.
All right, I got some news here. We got Jared Allen and Taurean Prince are going to start for Drummond and Larry Nance Jr. Anything on Prince?
No, that's who I expected to start.
Okay.
But so like on DraftKings with Prince, he is 4,400. That's fine. I don't mind him if you land in that small forward, power forward range and you have 4,400 left. But then on FanDuel, he's 5,400. There's a few other power forwards on FanDuel I think I'd prefer over Taurean Prince. Again, not that he's a terrible play there, but I just think I prefer a few other guys like Baisley. So yeah.
All right. No worries about the Lakers. Schroeder, Caldwell Pope, LeBron, Davis, and Gasol. Devin Booker is active. He is going to play. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, that just kind of takes all like that takes the love that I had for CP3, a little love I have for CP3 out. Ayton. I think on this slate, if you're MMing, he's still in play. Because now it takes all the ownership off. But with the center position, how weak it is, you got to imagine most people are going to go either all the way down to guys like Zeller, Hayes, maybe Whiteside gets some love, or they're going to go all the way up to Jokic. So if you did play a lineup and you started with DeAndre Ayton in that like 8K range on FanDuel, you are going to be different.
Okay, so we got some questions here in the chat. If you have one to play, Jokic or Giannis, $100 difference on DK.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like you love Jokic on FanDuel, but they're basically the same price on
but you got to remember too on FanDuel, I need you pretty much the way I'm building on FanDuel. The spend ups like in their range, I can only have one the way I'm building. So it's a choice. And so at center, it's a choice. If I played Jackson Hayes or went down to like Cody Zeller or anyone like that, maybe then I could spend up for Giannis and, Dame or something like that. But then I'd have to give with a guy like Brandon Ingram or Zion. I'd have to give with one of them two. And I'm just not good with that. Like, I just don't want to give on one of those guys. I don't want to budge. So if I'm not going to budge there, then I got to figure it out. And it led me to spending up for Jokic on FanDuel. On DraftKings, though, it was a little tougher for me because Giannis is power forward and I'm pretty sure center eligible on DraftKings. But there was there were some cheaper plays that I liked at the center position a little more. Like I think Hassan Whiteside at 3,600, Jared Allen at 5,500. I think we're in play if you wanted to play a little Jackson Hayes. Like, it's tough for me because on DraftKings, I ended up with a little more Giannis than I did Jokic. But it was more just off of the build that I had. And that's kind of where I'm at. On FanDuel, though, I ended up with all Jokic and no Giannis because I played Zion. I played Zion and Jared Allen. So that's the way I went in my main lineup. So.
Okay. Who's the best small forward on DraftKings? Pinto got Flo. I mean, that's a big question. Maybe we can go by tiers then. So I'm going to go through the player projections.
So Brandon Ingram,
Uh-huh.
Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr. if you want a real contrarian play. Those are the three small forwards that I like the most if you're spending, in that mid to high range.
What if you're not spending in that mid to high range? Let's go down a little bit here.
Okay, if we go down a little bit,
Yeah,
Darius
and I got
Baisley at
yep.
5,100. CD Osman, now that he's not starting, I think he's in play. Torian Prince at 4,400 is small forward and power forward eligible.
Okay.
Also, too, Miles Bridges. So Miles Bridges and Malik Monk with Terry Rozier out, I think those are the two guys off the bench that get a nice little bump. Miles Bridges sometimes still finishes out the game for this team. So now without Terry Rozier, you would expect if this game stays close, it's going to be, Lonzo, Graham, most likely, and Hayward for sure. And then it's a fight between guys like Cody Zeller, who did finish out last game, but Cody Zeller, PJ Washington, and Miles Bridges. But the other guy who played really well was Malik Monk, and Malik Monk's price tag stayed at 3,300 on DraftKings. So got 23 minutes last game. He had a really good shooting game, so maybe that gave him a few more minutes against Milwaukee. But if they need someone to score, and Terry Rozier, for what he does really well, he always would give them, his thing was he gave them a boost scoring the basketball. He didn't do a ton of other things like consistently, like rack up rebounds and assists constantly, but he was a threat scoring the basketball for them, and he gave them a boost there constantly. Malik Monk could give them that little boost off the bench, scoring at least to keep them in things. So I think he's interesting as a tournament play as well.
Okay. Well, that kind of helped us get through those positions too. So the next question we got, can I play LaMelo and Graham together on FanDuel? Macho Man wants to know. What up, Macho?
Yes.
Okay.
That price tag is so cheap for Graham.
D Smith, I'm playing Allen at center. What do you think of Anthony Edwards coming off the big game? He's got 240 plus DK points in the last 3. Price is only up 300, and it's a run back.
Yeah, if it's a run, I don't mind it if you're stacking that game and you want to run it back with someone. Now, I do prefer his price tag on FanDuel, but I think a lot of people will. So it might keep his ownership somewhat, down. And the news that we got with D'Angelo Russell being confirmed in will also keep that ownership somewhat down. So from an ownership standpoint, I think it's interesting for tournaments.
Yeah, I think that's a nice take there. I like it. Last spot on DK. Do I go Lonzo or Quickly? I mean, I know you got one in your core there, but
so Lonzo is the route I would go. I really like Lonzo. Lonzo was someone who he almost made it in my DraftKings core, but he was real close to it. I didn't want to. I think those Pels guys are really good plays, though. I think Lonzo, hopefully he's the one that falls under a little bit, falls in the cracks a little bit.
So a little Lonzo, LaMelo double up tonight is fine with you.
Yeah, brother lineup. Yeah, you can do it.
I like it. DFS production. What up, dude? Who do you like on at shooting guard besides for Halliburton on FanDuel? It's rough pickings.
Who do I like at shoot? See, that's why I really wanted to put a shooting guard in the core because it is rough. I agree with you. So, okay, Will Barton is shooting guard eligible, which is nice because you can just plug him in there. He's going to be really popular. So 2 other guys for tournaments that I think Colin Sexton is going to be somewhat popular because with the news with Drummond out and Sexton's already one of their main offensive weapons. And we've seen his upside just from a scoring perspective. I mean, like he could put up, 30 points in his sleep. He's that good of a scorer. He has that mentality to just score the basketball at will. But a pivot, I think, kind of near him is Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield, he gets sold team, which is nice, but he's been shooting the ball really well. Just look at the past 3 games, 7 of 12, 5 of 8, 6 of 13 from the 3-point line. He had 150 burger in those 3. The other 2 were in the 30s for fantasy points, but he has the upside. Obviously, the key with him is the 3-point shot. He doesn't give you a ton else in the assist category, the rebounds category. But if his 3-point shot is on, and it's been on the past few games, if it stays on, I think he's a really interesting tournament play. And everyone's going to play, if they play a king, I think they're going to look to guys like Whiteside or Halliburton. Maybe they spend up for Fox or mid-range for Barnes. I don't think anyone's going to play Buddy Hield.
Suns are good. We already talked about the Suns with Booker back. You're not big on them. Paul, Booker, Bridges, Johnson, Ayton. Nick's going with Peyton, Barrett, Bullock, Randall Robinson. So you got that. Again, guys, getting your questions out of the Discord chat today. And what this is going to do, this will actually be up on our site sooner than later. So it's going to be a lot easier to deal with, okay, if you can't get in. But you have to sign up for Discord if you haven't already. If you got any questions about that, hit us up at info at Run Pure Sports. Info at Run Pure Sports. Say, hey, I can't get into Discord. I don't know how to do it. They'll help you. It'll be wonderful.
Or you can just blow up Big T 44's DM box.
Geez.
You can just blow his DM box up and let's go. Let's light it up. Everyone, just start hammering Big T. Hammering him. What's going on here? Where's the chat?
No D Smith. The 2 balls are not too many. We just talked about that. Lonzo or Quickly on DK. Did we get to that one yet? Lonzo or Quickly?
Lonzo or Quickly? Yeah, we did. I said Lonzo.
Okay. Jared Allen. Does he have Christian Wood upside tonight? Can you stack him? Tyler's daddy wants to know.
Oh, Jared. Wait, does Jared Allen have Christian Wood upside?
Upside.
I mean, Jared Allen has some pretty solid upside, right? We've seen 50 out of him. I mean, yeah, I don't know if he's got Christian Wood upside, because I think Christian Wood has the upside for like a 60 burger. I don't know if Jared Allen's got that type of upside, but he's still got upside. I mean, this guy can put up 40, 45 points, especially on FanDuel with the steals and blocks being, a little more worth it on FanDuel. So I definitely think he's got upside. I don't know if he has Christian Wood upside, but their price tags are different. That's a $2,900 difference. I think you could definitely play them together. I like that pairing.
Kings lineup is out. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Barnes, Bagley, and Holmes. Yeah, with JSU, Kuya wants to know, what about JaVale at 3,100 on DK?
Okay, yeah. So you would assume that JaVale McGee would get some minutes here with no Andre Drummond, no Larry Nance. Now, he didn't get minutes last game, just to make sure that's clear. He did not get minutes. It was the last game, or I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. But he should here, and he should get, like, I would probably say what Allen was getting for his minutes, like that 15 to 18-ish minutes. Maybe he goes up into the 20s, maybe. So I think it is an interesting play. I think if you're making multiple lineups, throwing in a JaVale lineup isn't a terrible thing. I honestly think, too, at 3,100, you could play them together. Like, that's not crazy really to play them together. Well, because JaVale, these guys are high point per minute guys. Mm-hmm. And let's just say JaVale McGee, I mean, in 15 to 18 minutes, JaVale McGee could get there at 3,100. Now, he could also be, goofball and get 3 fouls in the first 4 minutes of the game, and you'll be tilting when he comes out in the first quarter after only being in there for two to 3 minutes. But he's 3,100, though. It's the reason, like, playing Whiteside, if we know Whiteside at 3,100 or 3,500 is getting 15 to 20 minutes, then it's a good play for tournaments. I think it's a very similar play. McGee is not as good as Whiteside. He's not as skilled as Whiteside, but he can rack up rebounds. He can get blocks and steals. He is solid like that. So, I mean, I think it's worth a shot.
Did a Champion of the Idiot show in DC about 10 years ago when they had Arenas and him and Nick Young, like the biggest idiots in the NBA were all on the same team. And even after Gilbert Arenas took a shit in one of his teammates' shoes, we still had JaVale McGee is the champion of the idiots. That's how little I think of JaVale McGee. Okay. He's right down there at the bottom. Just the worst.
Poor McGee. Poor McGee.
What do you mean poor McGee? He's a ding dong.
I just feel for him now. You made me feel bad for him. I feel.
What are you talking about? Listen, when you are dumber than Nick Young, you really got some problems, man. What a horrible roster construction that was. And then Javaris Crittenton went to prison for murder. I mean, what a roster. Can I go with Clint Bonjour Capella as my last piece on FanDuel? What do you think of Capella tonight, JSU?
What'd you just call him?
No, I didn't. T Mr. Six said Clint Bonjour Capella. I don't know why I called him Bonjour, but like I said, I'll read whatever's up here. So
honestly, I don't. There's not that many centers like on FanDuel. If you're talking about on FanDuel, there's not that many centers to pick from. I just don't love this spot against the Lakers. I don't like taking big. I don't like picking on the Lakers with bigs, especially when I have to pay the price that I'm going to have to pay for Capella. Does he have upside? Yes, but it's just not the best spot. So I'm staying away from Capella. If we were talking on DraftKings, I prefer guys like Christian Wood, Julius Randle, right in that range over him.
What's interesting is I think we got a lot more questions today than we usually do on the YouTube chat, which is kind of cool. But we got to hustle a little bit. We're 8 minutes away from lock. So Wes is worried about a Giannis blowout risk. Luka or Giannis for him?
Yeah, I mean, the Giannis blowout risk is real, but I mean, it was real when they played Charlotte, in my opinion, and they didn't. It was like, I don't know. I think Big T hit it on the head when he talked about Giannis's minutes. And if it is a close game, in a close game against this team, Giannis should crush almost every time. Like it's just, unless he's in foul trouble. I mean, that's another thing that could kill him. And if that's the case and it's a close game and Giannis is in foul trouble, Chris Middleton will probably crush. Like one or two of these guys are going to crush. Drew, Chris. This is just such a good matchup for these guys. So yeah, the blowout risk is real, but I'm still leaning Giannis.
Otter, what up, dude? What up, Otter's on the over? You like any of those 3.5K guys on FanDuel? I mean, there's quite a few 3.5K guys on FanDuel. But he's talking about major, right? Is he giving me any, or is he just saying? It must be a utility or something. I don't know.
On FanDuel? No, it's not on FanDuel.
There's no, that's what I'm saying. There's no utility.
He's got to be talking about like the center position. He's got to be talking about like the center position with Jackson Hayes at 3.6.
Okay.
Throwing some names. Like, yeah, I don't mind if you're spending down at center. You can go to Jackson Hayes or Hassan Whiteside. On FanDuel too, one other thing that's interesting is we talked about JaVale McGee, but JaVale McGee is power forward eligible. 3,900 at power forward. It's not crazy to play JaVale. I talked about it. You could play JaVale and Jared Allen together. Now, I'm personally playing Zion, but you could play these two together if you wanted to, and that would give you a lot of salary if you wanted to play, I don't know, Damian Lillard and Jokic together or something like that, if you wanted to spend up for someone like that.
Is Lonnie Walker okay at 4K on FanDuel DFS production?
Lonnie Walker. He's 4K. I mean, he's fine. My issue with Lonnie Walker is the same issue with most of these Spurs. The Spurs are getting healthy. They're pretty much all healthy up with the main guys that they have. And guys like Derek White, DeJounte, DeMar DeRozan, they just have so many solid players. Devin Vassell, like these guys all take away from each other a little bit. I think it's really tough to take a shot on those cheaper guys, especially because I think they get hurt the most with Derek White being back. And they got Patty Mills off the bench and Rudy Gay, and just, I'm staying away from it, but it is cheap enough where you could play it if you're making multiple lineups.
Otter said for the 3-5 guy, I went with Vincent with the Heat. Don't know.
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah,
I don't. Okay. With Goran Dragic officially back and everyone pretty much healthy, I don't love Gabe Vincent here now, unless you're calling a blowout and running it as a blowout. I don't love it though.
You don't love it.
with everyone back. Everyone's back.
Yeah.
So
2v2 on FanDuel, LaMelo and Okoro or Lonzo and Hield. That's Bogard Jr. 2v2, FanDuel, LaMelo, Okoro, Lonzo, Hield.
I mean, I love LaMelo, but I think the Lonzo Hield one is a little better.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. McGee or Monk in a DK GPP, Neptune 80.
Different positions, but I'd go McGee.
Yeah, we already talked about Kuya. We talked about McGee on DK. He's fine. He's a good play on DK at 3.1. JSU is fine with it. Earwig, JSU, Doncic and Reddish, or Fox and DDR on FanDuel. Doncic, Reddish, Fox, DDR, FanDuel.
Fox, DDR.
JSU, you got any 3.7K forward punts on DraftKings? 3.7K forwards on DraftKings. What's the lowest you'd go there, JSU?
3.7 forwards.
Isn't Osman down there?
Okoro's down there. Jaden McDaniels is down there. 3,300 for Jaden. We still haven't gotten any Naz Reid news, correct?
Yeah, well, I'll get you the Naz Reid news.
Oh no,
right
he's
now.
in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's in.
Is active but won't start. That's
so hold on a second.
I probably lean Okoro, I guess.
Leaning Okoro? Okay. Any love for Kobe White against New York tonight? Zach Davis wants to know.
I think, I mean, he's going to be an unknown tournament play, so I don't have any, but I think he's in play.
Jonas asked about LaMelo and Graham on FanDuel in a GPP. Walked away.
Yes,
real quick.
I think you can play them both together.
PDX. Can I play Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic together on FanDuel tonight?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2v2, LaMelo, Okoro, Lonzo, Hield. I feel like we already went through that one. God, there's so many questions here. This is great. Are you on Giannis? LOL.
Lonzo, Hield. Yeah. I'm on Giannis. Yes.
Oh, can you play? Yes, you can play LaMelo and Graham. We have talked about that one. Okay, last piece of a DK GPP. Westy wants to know, do I go Monk, McGee, or Campazzo?
Monk, McGee, or Campazzo?
Campazzo. Last piece on a DK GPP, and we're less than 2 minutes from lock.
McGee.
You're going with McGee there. Pelicans are going with Ball, Bledsoe, Ingram, Williamson, and Hayes. So their lineup just came out too.
Okay, yeah. That's
close 11. Lonzo and Halliburton or Sexton and I got to say what? Monte Morris on DK? Hold on.
Sexton and Monte. Wait, Lonzo and Halliburton or Sexton and Lonzo and Halliburton?
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like Monte, but Lonzo and Halliburton.
You like Monte tonight. Okay. Very good. Yes, Barton is not a shooting guard on FanDuel. LOL. Very good. So solid stuff, guys. Thank you. Who's your favorite 6.8K and under DK utility spot? Anybody 6K and under? Who is it?
6.8K and under
on DK.
I mean, for tournaments, I think Michael Porter Jr. is really interesting for tournaments.
Yeah, you like the Michael Porter Jr. tonight, huh? Lonzo or LMA DK single entry? You better relax, bro. Asked us that one. Lonzo or LMA DK single entry?
Lonzo or LMA? Wait, Lonzo.
Lonzo's your guy there. And we are just about at lock now. So the Cavs lineup's out. Garland, Sexton, Okoro, Prince, and Allen. Nothing surprising there. VIP. Hayes and Baisley or Allen and Whiteside on DK. Ooh, I like that one. Hayes and Baisley or Jared Allen and Whiteside on DK.
Jared Allen and Whiteside.
Okay, very good. We are locked, ladies and gentlemen. So if you got any more questions, they will be for the later games. We'll get to that. Unfortunately, tonight I am only playing on DraftKings. Not that I think DraftKings is a million times better product, but I will share a story with you, JSU. So last night, I'm looking at the Twitter. I see Adam Schefter says, hey, Stafford's going to the Rams. So I think it's the only market we had Stafford futures props where he was going to go next. It says, hold on a second. Let me see if this is still up. 2 seconds later, plus 600 on Matt Stafford. I legit cleaned out my whole FanDuel account, put it in on that. They can have my money for 7 months. But if you're giving me 6X guaranteed, I'm taking it. Now I'm going to have to I'm probably not going to play FanDuel this week. I'll wait till my Super Bowl bets come back. But yeah, man, it was great. That's why staying up to date on the news. That's why I kind of like this show too. You find out stuff, you go, you mess with your lineups. And it's more like that for NBA than anything else. There's just no doubt about it. You and I do NFL shows together. Sure, we'll get some news, 1 or 2 guys, but it's nothing like that for NBA. This is just absolutely bananas. Like baseball, you could set your lineup and it's everything's fine. All right, so if you guys want to give us some FanDuel ownership in the chat here, we'll do that. And before we do that, AOT Trey wants to know, do I go Hayes and Prince or McGee and Baisley?
McGee and Baisley.
For FanDuel, is your core going Lonzo over LaMelo? Okay.
Yeah, I think you can.
So
there's a price difference there too. So yeah,
there's a price difference there. So what do you think LaMelo's ownership's going to be tonight? Is it going to be heavy? Here we go. We got it right here. DK, LaMelo Ball. Hit me. What do you got?
33%.
This is the $5 single entry.
Wait, what is it? Okay, it's a tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, $5 single entry, DraftKings, 60%.
Okay, well, it's way off there.
60%. Yeah, I mean, who thought it was going to be quite that high? And really, it just seems like everybody's playing LaMelo off the top and nobody else. Oh, let's go. Maybe Washington is down here. Yeah. What do you think Washington is? I mean, that's silly.
2.2%.
Yeah. 3.2. Very good. Bam Adebayo.
6.1.
1.1.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward.
8.4.
7.25. Very good. Jimmy Butler, the butt man, is back. I should not have said that. I apologize.
7.2.
I'm going to timeout for that one. The butt man is back.
Come on. What is it? Give it to me.
Oh, it was 8%. I'm sorry. I was just wallowing in my own. What did you say it was?
I said 7.2, I think.
All right. LaMelo is 61.8 on FanDuel in the 45K. Thank you, Zach, for that. Sick with it. 82% for LaMelo in the 222 on FanDuel. So everybody's
going to have to get different
LaMelo
elsewhere, people.
Yeah. I mean, that's
what it is.
Malik Monk. Really? Okay. You got any Monk tonight?
I do.
All right. What do you think he came in at?
I'm going to say 9.2%.
Get out of here. Come on, dude.
What?
You totally looked.
Looked at what?
Dude, he's literally 9.2% in this tournament. You've never hit, that's ridiculous. Come on, dude.
Have you noticed that I've been using Have you noticed I've been using 0.2 for everything?
No, but you got it. Well, then you're totally not. You ain't getting Capella right, my friend. You definitely ain't getting Capella right then. What do you think Capella's at? I can't believe you got that right. I don't even care that you threw a 0.2 on there. That's impressive, dude.
I'm actually insulted that you think I would look for this game. I'm actually insulted.
Listen, you hit it exactly right. That's almost impossible.
What does that mean? That's not saying I'm in the same contest as you or anything like that. And I'm looking.
I don't know, man. Just tell me,
what
is Capella at?
Call me Patrick Reed now?
Stop stalling while you're looking up Capella. What's Capella at?
3. Well, you told me there's no 0.2, so I can't use 0.2.
Take the 0.2 out. As a matter of fact, I'll just say this. It's 0.04.
Oh, damn. I was going to say 3. So see, I was wrong.
No, but it's 1.04, so you were totally lost. I mean, you lost that one. LaMelo 72.82% in the 100 single entry DK. Okay.
I should just look in chat. They keep giving me all the nuggets. I should have just pulled chat up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not as much. I think we got a lot. Well, we got a lot of FanDuel questions tonight, though. We got a lot of FanDuel questions, more than DraftKings.
Are there any other questions before we get out of here?
I think we're done, buddy. I think we're done. Good show. I mean, we were under the gun here and we got through it.
NYC Sports says low ownership tonight. I think he will be lower owned tonight just because you got some popular guards on DraftKings for sure. So I do think he's going to be lower owned. So yeah, I think he's in play. Deep End Safety said Hayes and Bays or Jared Allen and Whiteside. I thought I answered that already, but I'm gonna lean the Jared Allen side. So Jared Allen, Whiteside.
Okay. And I just want to remind you guys hanging out here, I'm glad everybody's in the Discord. If you're doing that, if you're watching, elsewhere, we will get all of this. We will get all of these comments, your comments there that are actually on the live stream page. So we're all good. Thank you for hanging with us today. It seems to me like we got more questions than normal, and we saw a whole bunch of different people in here too. So I kind of like it. NYC Sports says he likes Ja. You like Ja tonight. What should be low ownership?
Yeah, I answer that. I do think Ja's in play. My worry with Ja is the minutes don't seem to be like if he finished out that game yesterday, I think he plays, he gets an extra, I think 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I think he plays like 31 minutes. I think that's what they're going to do. So, I think he's in play. I just don't think you're going to get like 35, 38 minutes out of Ja. I just don't think they're going to give it to him yet, but I still think he's worth it. Big T saying Campazzo in the chat, and he's the Nuggets guy. So if you want to play Campazzo, I'm not playing Campazzo. I just can't play Campazzo. I don't know what it is. Play Michael Porter Jr. Just you want a Nugget who should be low owned on DraftKings. Play Michael Porter Jr.
Do you have a problem with Italians or something? What's your deal, dude?
I'm Italian. What are you talking about? I'm Italian.
I'm just saying, maybe you hate your own people. That's why you don't like Campazzo.
No.
Gafford, Markkanen.
That's hurtful.
Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine, and Kobe White. That's the Bulls starting lineup. Gafford, Markkanen, Williams, Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine, and Kobe White. Why is that hurtful? I'm like 1/16th Italian. So,
1/16th?
Yeah, because my great
1/16th.
Yeah, because my grandma or my great grandma, she slept with the Italian milkman. It was just a whole scandal. It was like really scandalous back in the day too. Just think about it. Affairs today, but back in the day, they'd like put a scarlet letter on you and burn you at the stake. So, anyways, I do want to let everybody know though, before we go, thank you very much for watching. First of all, we love you. Thank you so much for being subs here. It really does mean a lot to me. I don't know about JSU, but definitely to me. Second of all, Super Bowl week. It's here. Like we have tons of Super Bowl content. I already hit my prop show with Titletown. It's up on our page right now. Should be on YouTube too. It's the Monkey Knife Fight prop show. So we talked about Monkey Knife Fight props, but we also just went into all props. So some really good stuff on there. We gave out our picks. I've got quite a few. Tomorrow, DFS and bet. So Mangone's going to be with me. Keg from the bet side is going to be with me. We'll do DFS and bets talk on the Super Bowl. JSU, you got stuff coming up too. I know you're flirting on the chat there with somebody, but please, what do you got coming up that's premium this week?
Yeah, well, me, Big T, and Dunkel are bringing back the Print Factory for one final, hurrah. So if you like that show, it probably won't be 3 hours like we normally go, obviously. But it's only one game. I can only talk for so long about one game. I'll try my best to run it up like an hour and a half or 2 hours, but I can only do so much for the people. I love the 50 or so viewers that watch that show every week and were in the chat, and maybe it wasn't even 50. It might've been like 20, but who cares?
More than 50.
There was a good few people who watched that show live every week, pretty much. You know who you are. We appreciate you. So, we're bringing it back for the people for one more go. You get to hear Big T's terrible takes and
NASCAR Tony. What are you talking about, dude? He's like all about NASCAR right now. It's amazing. Tony.
I mean, nothing made me laugh more than his tweet, his NASCAR tweet. I mean, just priceless. I mean,
Yeah.
The creator of that just did a perfect job. Siege in the car. I mean, you couldn't have done it any better. If you haven't already, go on Twitter and look at, Tony's NASCAR promotion, because it is
so
great.
funny. So
It is great.
funny. It even got him and Siege together. Like the rivalry is settled for just a little bit.
It's not even a rivalry.
All right, let me get out of here. I got stuff to do. I'll see you tomorrow. Simon, awesome job behind the scenes. JSU, as always, you're the best. Keep running pure, everybody. Have a great night.